Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Automated Advantage. This week we have John Betancourt on, who is the CEO of Human Intelligence. Really fun conversation, very energetic, and great advice for business leaders. So, hopefully, you enjoy this episode. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Automated Advantage. We have John on today. And, John, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us about your company?
Yeah, I'm John Betancourt, CEO of Human Intelligence. We've created the first personalized AI coach for workers, employees, leaders, and teams. Basically, we integrate psychometrics like personality type information around behaviors, motivators, and work styles into the workflow of your everyday work of Outlook, Slack, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, so that you can ask Aura, our AI coach, any question to be a better leader, to be a better team member, to collaborate better, to be a more effective team, to run meetings better. Essentially, what Grammarly did to the dictionary, no one in the world would buy a dictionary today. We are doing to the personality test world. And in 4 years, no one in the world would ever buy a personality test. You would just have it as part of your platform, and the insights are what the value is.
Wow, that's intriguing. So tell us what your maybe your background drove this. What got you guys to the hey, there's a hole in the market, or that there's things out there that sort of do this. We're better at it, or whatever. What was it the driver to get this moving?
It was not as linear as thought, build product, sell it. I wish that would be the case. And from what I know from all my entrepreneur friends, 90% of successful startups, what they started with is not what they finally commercialized and succeeded with. That would be the case with us as well. There is a piece that's similar. So, I did 15 years in corporate America, Procter and Gamble, Reebok, Puma, large companies. Another non-US company in that vein would be Decathlon. They're the reason Nike is down 65% over the last 6 years. They basically own the sports world everywhere in the world. Nike quality, Walmart prices. So worked for them in Europe for a while. And then I did software for 5 years at Siebel Systems, got to know software. And then I did executive search, headhunting. So the original genesis of Human Intelligence was I'm a really good headhunter. I worked at Korn Ferry and Heidrick and Struggles in my own search firm, focus on executives, very high paid type role. And it's hard to replicate yourself when you're really good at finding fit, because the skills and the business challenge are always easy to find, especially with LinkedIn and sourcing the right executive. It's really figuring out who of the five finalists is the one that they're going to love and that they're going to hire and that's going to work for the next year, so you don't have to give them a guarantee and do a search again. And I was really good at that. And key to that was understanding people's behaviors, what motivates them, their values, their work styles. But that came innately to me. So I had the idea originally for Human Intelligence 10 years ago to find a psychometric instrument, a personality test that could measure more than any other test in a short time, because no executive wants to take an hour, 2 hour test. And so I wanted to bring this insight to the mass hiring, high volume world so that every recruiter, every talent acquisition person in the country, whether it's manufacturing, hourly wage, Walmart type roles, could just give a personality test in 10 minutes to somebody. And it's like doing the 4 hour interview by a true executive search consultant or an IO psychologist. So we found one, we bought it, we built a software program around it. So the first 5 years of this company was a psychometric tool for high volume hiring. It was called Talent Fit for Recruiting. We got to like $4 million, 40 employees, crushing it. And then COVID came. I would have loved to have been a restaurant during COVID because they had it easy compared to a recruiting software. Recruiting software, no demand at all. We lost everything within 3 months. A restaurant, if they were nimble, would figure out how to get the food to their consumer because people did not stop eating. There was still the same demand for food. It was how do you get it to them? Still a big challenge for many companies, but at least if you figured it out, you could still succeed. We lost everything, fired everyone but 3 employees. And it's been the last 5 years pivoting to figure out how can we use this wonderful psychometric test. And the key moment there, the thought was, I saw Grammarly take what was the dictionary on every desk and the thesaurus and totally disintermediate that industry and basically make it that no one will ever buy a dictionary or thesaurus again, and use the first version of a light AI to rewrite your paragraphs, rewrite your sentences in your workflow. When I saw that 5 years ago, I said, boom, I'm going to do that for this very important world of IO psychologists and for psychometrics, because all the executives in the world take these tests and these workshops, and they all say the same thing. I have a cemetery, a folder with like 10 of them that I never looked at again. But it was really useful when I had it in that workshop. Well, if you could get that insight, that aha moment, like, wow, I understand Greg, I understand Steve, Mary, Javier, in your email, where you can write an email and it rewrites it for your audience, where in a Zoom meeting, it'll tell you and coach you how to run the meeting instantly. This is really the most transformational, human connection platform in the world. And so that's what we set out to build. And we've now had a built product for 2 years in the AI coaching market.
That's incredible. And so and the adoption has been, I mean, when you get the message across to people, are they like, oh my gosh? And so what's your customer acquisition been like over now that you've re-entered the market with something different?
We were early. So 2 years ago, no one was doing, you couldn't do SEO. Like SEO and SEM is when people are searching for something and then you pop up. No one 2 years ago was searching for the term AI coach or psychometrics in workflow, right? So marketing really wasn't very effective when it's a completely new product that nobody's thinking about. I then used my network to get in front of heads of HR, heads of talent management, leadership development. Probably 2 meetings a week. This is 2 years ago. So for all of 24 and most of 25, I was the only one at the top of the mountain shouting, there's an AI coach coming that everyone's going to have to adapt. And unfortunately, it made all the meetings very exploratory, where I'd say I have a new product, and everyone loved it. Literally 19 of 20 would say this is the most transformational thing. But then when it came to, do you have a budget? What's the next steps? They're like, well, we don't have a budget for this. This isn't part of our 24 budget. We didn't know this thing existed. And when you're not seeing it everywhere in the marketplace, as a head of HR, unfortunately, most people are the FOMO. You follow what the market's talking about. So when Burson from Deloitte comes out and does a report, AI coaching's everything. McKinsey comes out a report and says everyone needs to invest in AI coaching. Conference Board, Harvard Business Review. Until that kind of happens, and then companies enter that space with lots of money to educate and do webinars around AI coaching and scale your talent development, democratize leadership development to all managers, because only 40% of managers ever get training. Until that moment happens, you're just basically shouting out there and doing a lot of meetings that never lead to anything. And that was my last 2 years. The great news now is, as of 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, Q4 of last year, there are 30 market entrants who got venture capital funding to do AI coaching in our space. Those companies, some of them have raised 100 million, are doing tons of advertising, tons of webinars. The market is being educated. HBR, McKinsey, Conference Board, Burson are all reporting around this category. And investment banks now have, just like they have learning management systems, payroll systems, HRS systems, they have a bucket, a category called AI coaching. So now people are reaching out to us, finding us, and they're doing, RFPs to evaluate 4 companies to pick the best one. So now is where it's hitting. 2026 is when it's happening. My last 2 years, I had an amazing product, but nobody really cared.
Hey, I love. I mean, at some point in time, it's like I don't even know how to categorize. Like, hey, there's some things got to happen, and the best intentions, and maybe that kind of gets into the conversation about. So you guys started out, had something, had a massive pandemic affected, had a reskill. I mean, so what lessons did you learn over that time that just said like, oh my gosh, like this was revolutionary or whatever it was? Just kind of take us through your
Yeah, I mean, several.
2020.
One is to lead a software company of 10 to 15 employees. And when you work so hard as a team, as a group, to achieve something after 5 years, have it all taken away from you overnight with COVID, to stay positive and to lead with hope and not look like you're scared, or that or give them doubt where they're going to quit and try to find something else. Hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, nobody trained you for a moment like that. So I think leadership and setting a vibration of hope and positivity when you yourself as an individual are down is a very difficult thing to do without feeling like you're lying, or you have, what's that, when you feel fake to someone, was that called? There's a phrase in
The
psychology,
imposter syndrome or whatever it
imposter
is, right there.
syndrome. Like I never understood
Yeah.
what that meant my whole life. I finally understood what that meant. That's one learning. Another learning is that the pivot, although people talk about it like it's fun or like it was a great thing, I mean, pivots you don't want to do unless you have no other choice. I mean, so I think I understood and learned a lot about what a pivot means. A pivot is not good news. Most pivots fail, and you've got to really be able to let go of your ego whenever you started off in direction X, because a pivot usually means changing complete direction. And if you were telling investors and employees and clients that X is the thing, and 4 years later, like, well, no, now we're going to go Y, you lose complete credibility. And to convince someone X, you really have to buy 100% in. But to be okay throwing out the baby with the bathwater and starting from scratch, that is a skill set that I think only entrepreneurs have.
Yeah.
And it's something that I got good at with time, where I wouldn't, like, change is tough. And, we'd have the old product that we still had 20 or 30 customers that we had to keep them on board with updates and renewals and technology changes. But then the new product, and we don't have the same staff, but you don't have the resources now, but you're supporting two products. You got to carry them over to the new one, but the buyer would be different, and going from recruiting to talent management. Marketing is different. You got to change your website, change your positioning, going after different investors. I mean, it's almost like a pivot's like a new company in a way. And so don't take pivots lightly, but know that when you have to do it, you have to do it and go all in on the pivot. That's a second learning. A third is more broader than my specific example, something that's happening to all software. So for any SaaS software companies out there, the day that people log in to go and access your content, no matter what kind of software you are, B2C, B2B, laptop or phone, are gone. There are platforms out there, Microsoft, Slack, Teams, Workday. I mean, there are platforms that everyone's on. And the other 98% of software companies, if you don't find a way of becoming a plugin that's just a button within the platforms, no one will ever consume your product, and you'll never get adoption or usage. The whole signing in is over if you are not integrated seamlessly into where people work or where they live every day as a consumer. It'll never work. Okay, that is a lesson for everyone developing products, software products, B2B or B2C. And then a fourth and last lesson I've learned is the way people will consume once they're in that place in workflow on your phone or in a computer or laptop. The interaction, UI, UX, will no longer be clicking through to get an answer or folder by folder, or searching for something, writing search. It's going to be verbal questions to an AI person, thing, or coach. So Walmart and Best Buy and Chili's food and Procter & Gamble and Pepsi and GE and IBM, every single employee at those companies are going to have an AI coach for anything an employee might want to know. I have a project to do innovation on AI. Who are the two people in the company I should talk to? Boop, AI is going to go find them. Where do I find my benefits package? I have a big surgery coming up and I want to know what my healthcare coverage is. Boop, is this covered, right? There'll be an AI called Ask Wally for Walmart, or Ask Bobby for Best Buy, or for all internal employees, that will do not only our AI coaching, but everything related to questions an employee has. That's how people will consume content within their workflow somewhere in their products. And then all customers are going to be able to go to a website, whatever company, if you want to buy a car, instead of having to do all the research, you're going to go to BMW website and ask Beamery, or ask Bimapi, some name that they create. I have a family of four. The kids are 15 years old. We use it for these things. We go skiing. We do this. We are conscious of money, and we live in a warm climate, so we don't need heat seats. We just want like a sunroof. What are the best cars for families with these needs? And then that AI coach, that AI bot, is going to go and give you suggestions. That is the way all customers and employees will consume information down the road, through what at work will be an AI coach or AI helper, and customers will have an AI customer service bot called some name. And you're seeing them pop up every day. Every day, and you ask somebody something.
I think you got a side business there. You need to just go and trademark all those names for the bathroom. um, it kind of following on that, which is very interesting in many senses. But thinking through your evolution. So when you guys started to where you are now, and the pervasiveness of AI, when you were developing your initial project, is it safe to assume you're using a lot of hands-on coding, and you may have now evolved to an AI coding, but people checking the homework? How has that evolved from a business perspective?
So we have not gotten to the point that we're letting AI write the code in our software. Not that we are conceptually or ethically against it. We just haven't had the need to do that. Now, leveraging AI as a dimension within our product, as the engine of our product, we're leveraging a third party LLM, actually ChatGPT. So we're leveraging that LLM as the AI engine underneath the hood in our product. That was not an easy decision. So 3 years ago, when ChatGPT, very few people knew about it, we kind of started playing around with it. And there was a big debate. Half my company said, no, we cannot go towards AI and let AI do all the decisions and give all the tips and all, because then people won't learn. Because if we're here to educate people on people's psychology, they should learn about others. And when you write a sentence, you shouldn't just have it rewritten. I should learn about Greg and know that he's decisive. Therefore, I'll keep it short and ask the question. And so there's this internal debate. If our whole mandate and our vision is to educate people and have them learn around psychometrics and learn about other people, isn't it cheating if we just give people the answer? And I almost had half my company quit on that debate because we were all passionate about a vision of bringing better understanding to the planet and to employees and to bosses and teammates. And here we are now saying that AI is going to give you the answer. So we found the middle ground where every module or feature in our program, we tried to add a micro learning moment that, yes, we gave the answer, but then explain why the answer was that way about that person. And that's kind of how I got people not to quit. In some cases, it was too much information. We've now since dropped it. In others, it was actually really pertinent and great that we did it and it made sense. And so we've kept it. And we haven't lost any employees. And now we have a great balance in our product of that. But that was a big moment in our company.
I mean, it's such an interesting conversation because when I was running teams and stuff like that, you brought up something. This is our our attention span or whatever it is. My guidance to my team is, if you want me to do something, say it in the first sentence. Right? This is a long email, but here's what I need you to do, and that's how I like to work.
Yes.
And the second one is, if you hit freaking reply all to a general email, I'm going to lose my what.
Yeah, there's a reason there's a CC and a BCC. And when you're writing to 10 people, but you're only asking one person, the 2 is that person. The other 9 should be on BCC. And that tells everyone not to respond. It's only that one. I'm like you. I think intention is very important with email, and people don't understand those rules.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. And thinking now again, so business has evolved, things are going well, you're starting to get traction and stuff. So what is, if there is such a thing, what does a typical day look like for you?
I usually have one. I spread out my team internal meetings. So we have the group meeting with everybody, not some of the lower level software engineers, but everybody else, about 7 people on Monday afternoon, kind of get everybody aligned. I do one-on-ones with each of the 6 people the next 4 days. And then I usually am doing 4 hours a week of webinars where it's other people's webinars that I'm on there hearing where the market's headed on AI coaching, leadership development, talent management. It's crazy how many webinars are out there. It's almost like you're back into COVID year 1. Like, I think it's because this space is so new around AI and talent development, talent management. There are so many either vendors that are competitors doing webinars or just thought leader organizations like Conference Board and HBR and McKinsey. So I do about 4 or 5 hours of that, and then I'll spend probably 10 to 15 hours a week trying to muster leads. So writing to people on LinkedIn, writing to people I know, asking them, hey, can we get a meeting? And I'm doing a lot of 30-minute meetings. I probably do 20, 30-minute meetings a week. That's just for me going out on LinkedIn. I have like 33,000 connections, and I'm leveraging those connections. And we also have a bot that works on LinkedIn that sends out 100 a day. Hey, I see you're a Harvard alum like me. Let's connect. And then the second series is,
Mm.
hey, since we've connected, a week later, we've connected. Do you mind meeting up, see how we can help each other? Or if it's somebody in HR, I'd love to get your feedback on this product that we have. It's an HR product. 30 minutes, nothing more. I'm not selling you. And then, and also, I'm a Wharton grad, or I'm a Procter and Gamble alum. Like all the very innocuous, like, hey,
Mhm.
we've experienced the same organizations. Let's meet up. So that drives a lot of those 20 meetings a week. And then probably there's 3 to 4 customer actual prospect calls or meetings. And then the rest of the week is following up and sending out all the things I said I would follow up. And then, by Friday night, realizing that I've only followed up on like 7 of the 20 things, and I'm going to have to work on Saturday or Sunday. I never get it all done during the week. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I hear you on that one, and sympathize as well. So you did touch on it too, and again, your evolution of the company is different to some traditional stuff, but as far as somebody sitting out there today and saying, I think I want to start a business, whether it's a SaaS company or whatever it is, what would you tell them? And I'm going to see if you the same as about 20% of people have the first answer is almost always the same. Let's see.
So if someone's about to start a company, what advice would I give them?
Yeah.
I have so much advice. I mean, I'll just throw out a couple. Are you sure it's the hardest thing you'll ever do in life? And there's a 99% chance that you will fail, no matter who you are and how smart you are, and no matter what you've achieved before. 99% of startups fail. So, with that as the framing, I would kick their tires and make sure that either A, they know a domain better than anyone, because those people are like, oh my God, AI is hot. Let me go figure something out. Probably not going to work. It's usually the person who is a lawyer, who's an expert at all the paperwork and law and knows all the processes, teaming up with a CTO who knows AI and saying, hey, I have all this process and content in my head that we do manually. I know AI can do it better, but I'm not a tech guy. Can you help me put all that into an AI agent that does it for humans? That would be a better potential to bet on than someone just saying, oh, AI is hot. I want to go start a company in that space because it's hot. Or Bitcoin's hot, so I want to start a company in Bitcoin. Now, somebody who's done fintech for years and sees Bitcoin coming out or crypto and figuring out how that would disintermediate some area of fintech that they already knew, better chance. So you have to be domain knowledge, or just if you're in IT, you could probably pick something you're not passionate about, but just be very good at the IT. So that's the first things. Are you sure it's going to be really hard? Do you have domain expertise or something that you have an angle or knowledge or understanding that you're ahead of everybody else? Because with AI and software now, there are very few barriers to entry other than expertise. So that you can it'll be a first to market winner and first to market success. And so the people with the most expertise will make the least mistakes and get the product that's most aligned to what the market wants. Um, and and then the last thing I would say is, don't raise money from venture capital unless you really need to.
Mm.
If you
Yeah.
have no other options.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So your first response was directionally accurate with most people. Most people say flat out, just don't do it. It's like 20% of people are telling me don't
Oh,
do it,
really? No,
and then
I never tell someone. I never tell someone the answer. I'm more
yeah.
Socratic guidance, like with a kid. You never tell a kid what to do. You have to kind of guide them, have
Mhm.
them ask their questions.
Yeah. No, I like your style much more. It's like exactly just put a lot of thought into it and make sure that you've got a strategy and an approach. No, that's again interesting. Everybody's perspectives are super interesting in how to go about it. Um, this is really, really fun, really interesting. I like your energy. As we just finish out here now, again, tell us where to find you. You're clearly on LinkedIn, but just name and the name of the company website, and then anything else that's out there that you want to promote, and then maybe suggest if you are a company that looks like this is what we can help you do. Maybe.
Yeah, so look for me on LinkedIn as John Betancourt. Website is www.humanintelligence.com. We took the IN out of the middle of the two-word combination of human intelligence. Or you can go to askaura.ai, gets you to the same place. And my email is john.betancourt@humanintelligence.com. For companies interested in an AI coach for all of their employees or just their leaders, and you can set it whichever way you want. We do free trials. Small companies, it's a starter kit for better talent management and leadership and collaboration of your employees. So if you don't have the money to have a talent development team or leadership development, this is the perfect product. It's off the shelf. It's very reasonably priced so that now you can have Fortune 500 quality talent management, talent development. And then for the Fortune 500 companies that are huge on the other side of the spectrum, you are only touching 5 to 10% of your employees. Why not touch all of them with better coaching and advice all the way down to the last employee? So it's a product like email that will be for everybody. Everyone will use an AI coach.
Yeah. So, folks, you heard it there. Please go and take a look at that. And John, I really appreciate your time today. And thanks so much for being on.
Thank you so much, Greg.